continue with Jonathan Wiseman, Wall Street Journal.
Thank you to both of you. I've got a question for both of you. Mr. President, on Tuesday, you said that now is not the time to reopen NAFTA, but your aide said that you would be trying to convince our friends in Canada and in Mexico of the rightness of your position. So first, did you convince our friends in Canada? And when is the right time to incorporate labor and environmental standards into the main body of NAFTA? Second, for Prime Minister Harper, Mr. Prime Minister, is there a way for a Buy American provision to be compliant with the U.S. obligations under the World Trade Organization?
Now is a time where we've got to be very careful about any signals of protectionism, because as the economy of the world contracts, I think there's going to be a strong impulse on the part of constituencies in all countries to see if they can engage in beggar thy neighbor policies. And as obviously one of the largest economies in the world, it's important for us to make sure that we are showing leadership in the belief that trade ultimately is beneficial to all countries. Having said that, what I also indicated was that with a NAFTA agreement that has labor provisions and environmental provisions as side agreements, it strikes me if those side agreements mean anything, then they might as well be incorporated into the main body of the agreement so that they can be effectively enforced.
First of all, I just think it's important to reiterate that since NAFTA came into force, and more importantly, since Canada signed its free trade agreement with the United States in 1988, trade agreements between our two countries have been nothing but beneficial for these two countries. There has been a massive explosion of trade. It was already the biggest trading relationship in the world. It's so much bigger now. And that trade supports, countless millions of jobs. And I don't think we should also forget the leadership that was established in that. This was about the end of the Cold War, and Canada and the U.S. signed the first modern generation trade agreement that really started the proliferation of these types of agreements, which really gave us the growth of the global economy. Now, I know some aspects of trade invariably cause political concerns, but nobody should think for a minute that trade between Canada and the United States is anything but a benefit between the two of us. And quite frankly, the trade challenges we face are common trade challenges. The trade challenges we face in North America are common trade challenges. They're not problems between our countries. So I just think it's always important to keep this in mind. The President and I did have a good discussion of his concerns. Our position is that we're perfectly willing to look at ways we can address some of these concerns, which I understand, without opening the whole NAFTA and unraveling what is a very complex agreement. But we had a good discussion on that, and I think I'm hopeful we'll be able to make some progress. On the Buy American provisions, let's also be very clear as well that in both WTO and NAFTA, there are industries and there are ways in which, and there are levels of government at which one can have domestic preferences in purchasing policies. These things are allowed in some cases, but they are certainly not allowed without limit. We expect the United States to adhere to its international obligations. I have every expectation, based on what the President's told me and what he said publicly many times in the past, that the United States will do just that. But I can't emphasize how important it is that we do that. We have agreed in Canada and all the major countries of the world through the G20, we agreed to pursue economic stimulus measures, not just to stimulate our own economies, but to recognize that we have a synchronized global recession that requires policies that will not just benefit ourselves, but benefit our trading partners at the same time. If we pursue stimulus packages, the goal of which is only to benefit ourselves, or to benefit ourselves worse at the expense of others, we will deepen the world recession, not solve it. So I think it's critical that the United States has been a leader for a long time in the goals of an open global economy. I think it's critical that that leadership continue, and I'm quite confident that the United States will respect those obligations and continue to be a leader on the need for globalized trade. If I could just comment on our stimulus package, one of the things we did in our stimulus package was actually removed duties on some imported goods. Now, part of the reason we did that, it's in our own economic interest, but also as well, it will help stimulate continental and global trade, and this is important for our recovery. We know as a small economy, we can't recover without recovery in the United States and recovery around the world, but that's true for all of us these days.
I expect that you will see increased trade. I think we will see continued integration of efforts on energy in various industries, and I think that's to be welcomed. It is possible for us to balance our security concerns with an open border that continues to encourage this extraordinary trade relationship in which we have $1.5 billion worth of trade going back and forth every single day.
I think this would be the safest prediction in the world, that today Canada and the United States are closer economically, socially, culturally, in terms of our international partnerships than any two nations on the face of the earth, closer friends than any two nations on the face of the earth. And I think we can safely predict that in 4 years' time, we will be in exactly the same spot. What we can do with that in the meantime, and what I'm sure President Obama will want to do with that, is to take that close relationship that is so deeply integrated when it comes to things like trade and military and defense considerations, things where we have not only established a close friendship, but where we have established models that others who want to pursue close friendships have used around the world, that we can take those things and we can continue to lead in the future. We can continue to show how two countries can work together in ways that pursue global cooperation and integration to mutual benefit. And as we all know, one of President Obama's big missions is to continue world leadership by the United States of America, but in a way that is more collaborative. And I'm convinced that by working with our country, he will have no greater opportunity than to demonstrate exactly how that model can operate over the next 4 years.
And let me just say that to echo what the Prime Minister said, Prime Minister Harper's right. It's a safe bet that the United States and Canada will continue to enjoy an extraordinary friendship. And together, I think we've got an opportunity to show the world that the values that we care about, of democracy, of human rights, of economic growth and prosperity, that these are values that the world can embrace, and that we can show leadership. And I'm very much looking forward to working with this government and all Canadians in order to promote these values. I want to also, by the way, thank some of the Canadians who came over the border to campaign for me during the election. It was much appreciated, and I'm looking forward to coming back to Canada as soon as it warms up